Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday celebration at
Hmm.
my job today. So
What?
everybody bought like different food items. Girl, somebody bought red beans and rice. It was so good, but I have been birthing oh, since then. You know I'm gassy, child. So
You gassy inward
mm,
and
both
outward.
ways. Yeah, yeah. You ain't even had to. You know what
Sorry,
I'm
my
saying? I was
bad.
trying to keep
That
that
was
between. That's confidential. That's a HIPAA
confidentiality.
violation.
What up, though?
Anyway, what's
We
up,
live.
y'all? What up? What up? Welcome back to. What are we on episode 19? I think this is episode 19. I think I'm gonna have
I
to
was about
start
to say
count. Is
18.
it 18 or 19?
I thought it was 18, but my
I thought it
the
was
way my
18 too, but then
memory
I was
is
like,
set
wait,
up,
it
it is
might be.
19.
It's episode
Wow.
19. We almost at 20 episodes.
We got to have a party
Woo-hoo.
then. We got to have a
Okay, something's wrong with us. Ah, thanks, guys, for coming back for episode
yeah.
19 of Don't Listen to Me podcast. You see the title. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But first things first, make sure you pour your cup.
Got my
Grab a
drink
cup
in
and
my
fill it up.
cup. What's your name? What's your name though? You ain't introduced yourself
Oh,
to the
my name
people.
is Lo.
Okay, hello. Y'all see, this is a new
This a new low.
oh.
Got
Look
the
at her.
got the curls, the baby curls, the
The
little baby
curly
fro.
baby her. She got that good curly. It's so cute, sis. I
Thank
love
you, sis.
it.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Oh,
I kind of like it. That's
I kind
cute.
of love it.
Hmm
Okay.
hmm
Love it. But my name
What's
is
your name?
Alnisa. What up, y'all? Thanks again for joining us. 19. 19
Episode
episodes.
19. And ain't nothing changed. What you drinking?
But the drink in my cup.
Oh,
But don't pump. I went
oh,
back to my
nice.
rose. This is just a fave. And listen here. Okay, so what had happened was this was a new bottle.
Okay, because it's gone halfway.
I mean, you can say bottle half empty, or you can be optimistic and say bottle half full. I choose
Touche.
to be optimistic. But what had really happened was
Touche.
I got home a little earlier and I started cooking, and usually I drink wine while I'm cooking. So I was like, dang, it's early. I can't wait to crack this bottle open. So that's
Mm,
why it's half
full.
full.
All right. All
Okay?
right.
Half full.
Pull it up.
On you.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Like the songwriter said. All right.
We
You
just
know
be
what?
cracking ourselves up,
With
don't we?
ourselves. Okay. More on that later because I have to tell you a story. Hopefully my connection isn't glitching too bad. I have this bar telling me that I don't have the best connection, but what I'm drinking,
I
you see
hear
the
you.
top.
Okay. We know. We see you. We
Oh,
both got twists.
faithful.
Oh, faithful one. Twist. Pop.
I don't
Uh-huh.
want no fuss, no mess. Here we go.
Oh,
Cheers to you.
cheers. You
Oh,
got
look
the
at the glass I got. I'm at our parents' house, child. So
okay.
cheers, y'all.
The only reason mom has those is because
It's
we
because
brought.
we bring them over. She don't drink.
Oh, oh, that was good. As if I haven't had it earlier.
You are
Ah,
something else.
I
Oh,
know.
before we go any further, have you heard the remix to Cuff It?
I don't know if I
Beyonce,
want to hear it. She out here cutting up.
j-
She out here. She out here cutting up.
it
Hmm.
is so good, Nisa. I was listening.
Really?
It is. I put on, like, Apple Music has the R&B playlist. It was on the Breaking R&B, I think, or new
Mm.
R&B new playlist. It came on. I was like, wait, this says Cuff It, and in quotations it says remix,
When did
and
she
I'm
drop
like,
that one?
apparently like a month or like the day she announced her tour. Apparently she dropped it.
So we're just not. We're just
Nisa.
not. Well, where have we been? Living under a rock?
Apparently it was so good. I was driving home in traffic like Beyonce. I was literally screaming like what are you doing, Beyonce? You
So
better do
that's
it.
how you side note. That is how we always you know how we it's probably one of those feelings where you remember recently when I met you and Haley, we were going out to the art gallery and I played that new India Irie song that I had ran across. And
Yeah.
we sat there and listened to it over and over. Everybody was getting ready to put on their makeup, and then everybody would come out the wait, like, what she just say? Girl, you better say. We are always like that. Like, we
It's
talk to the
interactive.
song.
You gotta
We're
talk
talking
to
to the
the
artist,
singer.
actually.
Oh yeah.
We're
Oh
talking to the
yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you
So I
know.
already know. I already know. I'm gonna listen to
It
it tonight.
so good. And she the thing I was really listening to this, like, did someone just make this? But no, it is a real remix. Like how back in the day you used to they used to like remake the
Yeah,
song
yeah, yeah,
totally.
yeah.
It was the same song, but
Huh.
it's not like a remix because we just threw a feature on it. It's a real
Yeah,
remix.
it's a re. See,
I was like, oh, she's bringing the remix back.
she's
I
bringing it back.
loved it.
Oh, let's start that trend. Come
Let's
on, please
yeah.
bring the real remixes. The hashtag real remixes back. I know that's a long hashtag, but
No,
we
it
got to have
goes.
all those words on there.
All of them. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
so now
let's
I
get
guess
into it.
we'll just catch up for the weekend, y'all. We went to
Catch up, Buster.
um enough is enough. We went to the roller derby
Oh
here, the
gosh,
women's roller derby here in Atlanta,
that's a good time.
and it was such a good time. We were all really excited. Me, my sister, brother B, and our dad. We call the old man
The
lovingly.
old man.
And when I tell you, it was full of adventure. The entire
Full.
evening turned out way, way, way different than we had intended. Sis, you want to give them just a small recap?
I mean, honestly, let me just. Long story short, okay. I appreciate the fact, and this is on topic but off topic. I really appreciate the fact that whenever I feel like, I'll say not whenever, I'll say a lot of times when, and I love this about us, when we are faced with different challenges where some people would be like really mad and frustrated and cussing and screaming and maybe even deter their whole night, and they be like, you know what, I'm calling it a night, blah 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 blah, I'm in a bad mood. We really be rolling with the punches, and we just be like, okay, well, you know what, everybody's safe. Let's still
Mm-hmm.
go out and have a good
Yeah.
time. And we laugh about it and we talk ish about the situation that literally just took place 5 minutes
Yeah.
ago, as if it wasn't something like, nah, that's something to be kind of frustrated about. But we
Yeah.
don't let it get there. We just kind of
Yeah.
roll with it. So I know
I
that
do
was
love
off
that too.
topic, but
No,
go ahead.
no, it is
You
on
want to
topic.
tell, because you were actually
True.
there.
No,
So
very good point though. You definitely are right. So, as you all know, my brother B and I live very close to each other. I don't have a car, so I basically use his car. We kind of like quote unquote share a car. It's his car, but I have like a hybrid work schedule. So some days I go into the office and he lets me use his car on those days. Anything else, if we're doing it as a family, he just assumes that I'm riding with him.
yeah.
So when we were going to the roller derby, he had picked up the old man. You know, our parents live in the suburbs of Atlanta. So he picked up the old man, was coming back to the city. I was on the phone with him. He was like, what do you want to eat? You want me to pick you up something to eat? I was like, yeah, yeah, but I'm riding with y'all, so I could just ride with y'all. And he was like, oh, that's right, that's right. So he comes picks to pick me up. It's raining and it's actually dark by
Oh
this
God,
time.
it's
So
so bad too.
yeah, it was raining, was dark, and driving in the city, there's lots of cars, street lights, headlights, traffic lights. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And where I live, I'm not gonna tell you all, but where I live, there is like it's a major intersection right there that was like going towards the Derby where we were heading. So my brother is making a left turn at the light. This particular intersection, even when it is broad daylight, the sun is shining, there's no clouds in the sky. This
Rainbows.
particular median, this
Mhm.
particular median is so just awkwardly placed that you almost you the stop you probably stop right here for the stoplight. The median is so far ahead that you got to kind of drive straight and then make a left versus just your natural left
Turn. Let
turn.
me bust this turn. Right.
So brother B did not properly measure how far he needed to swing out to make that left
Maneuver.
turn and crash right into the median. Raining, it's dark outside. This is a major intersection in the city, so we're kind of like stopped in the middle of downtown on the weekend at
Yeah.
like prime time hour. So
Yeah.
we were definitely like a hazard on the road because we were barely up. We couldn't move.
No place
So
to
first,
pull over.
yeah, there
Yeah.
was no place to pull over. We were trying to. Brother B has a stick shift, so he was like, "Okay, put it in neutral. I'll try to like push it." The old man got out of
Mm.
the car.
The old man
It,
got out the.
not to push,
Y'all
just
ain't tell me
to
this. Oh, I was
alleviate
about to
some,
say now. Come on now. Y'all
just so
just
it wasn't
leaving details
so
out.
much in the car to have to push.
Okay.
He just got out, stood on the side, walk over there. Brandon's back trying to push it, but it's almost like it couldn't go to the point where it felt like something was resisting. Like almost it felt like the emergency brake was on. Like you could not push it at all. It would not
Um.
budge at all.
Okay.
Not even to get a roll.
Wow.
So Brandon and oh, I've been calling him Brother B this whole time. All right, that's his name.
Brandon. It's a lot of Brandons. Remember,
It is
remember,
a
it's
lot
a
of
lot of
Brandon.
Brandons.
It is a lot of
It's a lot
inside
of
joke.
and we're gonna just bleep it out. When y'all by the time y'all see this, we just gonna bleep the name out. Y'all gonna be like, we know who he
What?
is. We know him.
So him and the old man get back in the car and they're like, it has to be like the axle or something,
Hmm.
like, they're doing the man thing and they're trying to figure out like what they know about cars, what it could be. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Brother B calls he's trying to figure out how to get it towed or something.
Right.
He finally gets in touch with the people to tow his car. Oh no, I call you because you were on the
Yeah,
way
you call
from your
me.
place. I call you. I'm like, sis, can you meet us here? Drop my pin. You can't miss us. we in
But
the middle of the
she was
street.
that was actual and factual. I just thought that I was gonna have to look, and sure enough,
No,
I did not.
no,
Right
we
there,
literally
smack
right there.
dab in the middle of the street.
Rainy, kind of chilly. So I'm like, at least we can get the old man. Y'all can go to the roller derby. I was like, I guess I'll stay with Brother B. He's like, nah, don't stay, don't stay. I'll be okay. I'll watch I'll listen to some podcasts, and he's planning out his whole time because it was going to be like 2.5 hours that he was going to have to wait
Yeah.
for a tow. The roller derby had started maybe 15 minutes,
Hmm.
had been going for maybe 15 minutes at the point where Nisa got to us. So we were like, I'm like, brother, if the roller derby is going to be over at 9:30, you could probably leave your car here. We could all go to the
Can't go
game.
nowhere.
We can't go anywhere, so we might as well all just go. We'll come back. I'm sure they'll call you when they're near.
Yeah.
Sis, you're gonna have to take it away from here because I feel like my memory is sketchy. So
All
when
right.
you picked
So
us up,
I picked them up, and we had first of all the roller derby. So freaking cool. We've gone before many years ago, before the pandemic, and they kind of stopped, of course, due to COVID, and really just started and pick back up. So we were excited to go. So we were like, okay, well, we're going. So this is a place where you can bring your own drinks and your own food. It was always the plan of us to stop and grab something to eat on the way and grab some drinks. So as luck would have it, the restaurant or the place that we were going, it was literally on the way. But as we are, first of all, again, it's cold, it's raining, it's dark. Listen, my 40 plus something eyes do not hit in the dark like they used to. Let me tell y'all how so much No, literally was in the back seat like, "Hey, sis, you're gonna have to do this right here. You're gonna have to, you that right there. You're gonna have to do this right here." I'm like, "Oh, girl, thank you," because my eyes,
Oh my
they
gosh.
just, they older. So there was a part where we were supposed to. They were telling me to get over to the. I was in the left lane. They were telling me to get over to the right lane, and I couldn't see because it was pouring, raining, and it was
Hmm.
dark. And I'm like, can I go? Can I go? Can I go, y'all? And I think it was Brother B. He was like, yeah. As soon as I try to go, y'all,
I forgot about that.
somebody almost smothered us.
Oh yeah.
We to
It
the
was,
point.
I remember this. Yeah, because that light is weird. It's like
Oh my
two, yeah, that was crazy.
god! And then everybody was freaked out, and we was like, you know what? Maybe we should go home. I was like, nope. Let's just pray. We just gonna pray this thing. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, y'all. Let's just pray, okay? But either way, we get to this. I guess it's like a. It's not even. Is it a restaurant? What is it?
It's like a bar. It's like
It's
a
a
bar and
bar.
grill, like a bar and grill type
It might
restaurant.
not be like a bar and grill, but it will say it's a
No,
bar and grill.
okay.
We'll say they sell hot dogs. Okay.
They sell
Um,
wings too, just
they
not to
do sell
go.
wings, just not
I
y'all. You see what we
forgot
dealing
about that
with?
part.
Just not to go. So we got hot dogs. Brother B is a vegetarian. I don't eat hot dogs, so we get well, B gets a whole bunch of vegan hot dogs and or vegetarian hot dogs and regular hot dogs. We got just so many hot dogs and fries. Ooh, them fries is good.
Those were
And
delicious.
so we park and we're literally trying to decipher between if we're all gonna go to the liquor store and go to the restaurant, or if somebody's gonna go to the liquor store and then somebody's gonna go to the restaurant and whatever. So Lo decided she was gonna because the liquor store is literally right across the street.
Right, yeah. I
Well,
gotta take it. Okay, no, no, no.
no, you go now. Yep,
I just want
we're
to
gonna tag
explain
team
the
this. We
adventure
gotta go
to
into this. Y'all gotta follow us with this story. Okay,
follow very
focus.
closely.
Follow. Okay,
Listen now with your ears and your eyes. Pay real close
look
attention
in my eye.
when I tell you. So we are, again, we are still in the heart of the city. So they're across the street, but across the street in the city, when it's cold and raining, and if you know Atlanta, like Atlanta, there's construction going on everywhere. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, of course, I'll
Everywhere.
just run across the street, grab a few of our, like, the old man hardly drinks. We weren't really, we just wanted wine. B just basically, he wasn't even really trying to drink. He was just like, oh, just give me like a little, like a hard
Beer.
cider type
Right.
thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a wine cooler basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, cool, that's easy peasy, I can get it. I am quickly realizing, probably should have just had them drop me off because the sidewalk is non-existent basically. There's construction, the
What
sidewalk.
sidewalk? What
What
sidewalk?
sidewalk? I'm like trying to zigzag in and out between the wet, the wet, like construction ran up sidewalk. And I'm thinking, first of all, and cars are going like in the
Yeah, it's no
rain. So
lights. Yeah.
cars are going in the rain. So I'm trying not to be so close to the sidewalk because they will get me. I'm gonna get rain splashed on me. So I'm walking
Or
in
ran
and
over. One or
or
the
ran
other.
over.
That's what I was
I
going
mean,
for.
but I'm talking about not even on the what
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
technically the sidewalk. I can't be super close. I have to like try to be as far away from the street as possible. There was no way that I was able to, like, I was really trying to find a spot where I could like run where, okay, both of these lights are red and I can just run because it is right there. It's like
It's
right here.
literally.
When I tell you I walked here, walked back, walked, because I'm trying to think what's my best option here. Should I cross there? Should I cross here? Should I stay here and cross? Finally,
It was a lot.
I get across. Thank God. By the grace of God, I get across. Getting the actual beer, like I said, the old man doesn't really drink, but he requested some beer that nobody's
Very
ever heard of.
specific. Yeah.
I don't even know if this beer
Very
exists
specific.
in all 50
You're
states.
right.
Maybe just
And we
12 of the 50 states does this beer exist. I get everybody else's stuff. I'm like, okay, Pinot Grigio. I think I got a sweet red, the little individual
Mm-hmm.
wines. Got Brandon his little seltzer, hard seltzer. I'm asking I asked one of the like attendees at the liquor store, "Hey, do you guys have this unknown kind of beer?" He froze like he had to take a beat to process the question that I had just asked him, and he was like,
He was
"No, we ain't
probably
got that."
thinking is that on my list? I don't
He
remember
like
that. I don't remember studying that
he
one.
was looking at me like I had just made that up off the top of my head. Like,
So he made it up off the top of his head. Nope, we don't got it. If I ain't heard it, we ain't got it.
so all right. So at first thought, I'm like, okay, I can definitely carry this stuff across. Then the person that rang me out grabbed one of those liquor box, like the box, and I'm like, dang, maybe I got more than I can actually carry across the street. Again, it's chilly, it's rainy, and it's
Yeah,
dark. And I just had this whole adventure trying to get across the street the first time. So I text my sister like, sis, I I might need some help like getting this liquor out of the liquor store. So and I wanted to avoid that because even though it's just across the street, sometimes driving it is even more difficult, especially
yeah,
the way that liquor store is. It's kind of weird getting
right.
in there. So yeah, I text her, but by the time I text her, I had already realized it was much easier getting that they had an actual sidewalk on that part.
On that
So I
side.
just was able to walk to, and they had one of those crosswalks where you didn't have to actually be at the light. It was just like a pedestrian
Oh yeah.
crosswalk. So I
Mhm.
was like, okay, bet there's a sidewalk, there's a pedestrian cross signal. I was able to just carry it and get over there. When I get there, I know that
No.
they're
Wait, let me just tell you an important part because when you get inside this bar and grill,
that's what I was getting to.
the guy has to card you.
Yes,
Did
that's
you?
what I was
Okay,
getting
okay,
to.
okay. Go ahead.
Cause so I know that I can't take this box of liquor into the bar. So I'm like, as soon as I walk up the stairs, I get there, I just sit the box right at the stand where the what do they call 'em? Security guard maybe?
Podium. I don't know. Mm.
Yeah, okay. So or secure like the ID checker slash security guard is.
Oh, just at the
I
front
sit it
door.
at that little front little situation, and he's looking at me like, "Where you going with all that?" I'm like, "No, no, I'm not trying to go in. I'm just trying to get in touch with my sister. She's in here, so I can put this liquor in the car." He's like, "Oh, yeah, your sister just left," and I'm looking at him like, how do you know my sister? Because we did not walk in together. As soon as we got there, I immediately went across the street and they walked in without me. He's like, "Oh yeah, your sister just left." I was like, "Really? Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. She's in there with my brother and my dad." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, she had he was like, "Yeah, she was with a whole big group of girls and had like a long, some sort of like long black hair." I was like, "Nah, ma, that's not her." He was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I mean, okay, so it was the one with the locks." And I was like, "No, my sister, she just has short, light brown hair." He was like, "Oh, the one that was born in 1980." I was like, "Yeah."
The audacity!
I was like, "How do you know her birth year?" He was like, "Oh no, nothing crazy like that. Like I just noticed, I really paid." What he said was, "I have a photogenic memory."
You know what?
He said he has a
Ah!
photogenic memory, and he was like, and also there's not a lot of black women that come in. But this is what I meant to tell you. When he was so sure about the first girl who he thought was my sister, he was like, "Yeah, y'all look just alike." I was
Are
like,
you
"She's."
scoundrel?
He was like, "Y'all look just alike. She looked just like you." That was why he was convinced it was the
Uh,
first girl. I was like, "Man, nah."
First of all,
It
there
was
weren't
hilarious.
many of us in there, okay? It wasn't that kind of party. But second of all, when I got to the front to show him my ID, he stared at it for so long and kept looking back up at me to the point where I was like, he must not be from Georgia. Like, is this his first night? Because he don't know where to look for the birthday on the license. Different states you got to look different
Yeah.
places. So I was like, oh, he don't. That's what I was thinking. And then he was looking so long till he started making small talk with me. He was
No.
like, "So how you doing tonight?" was like, dude. I was like, I'm
Nisa,
pretty good. How are you? He was like, well, it's just a busy night tonight.
I can't even deal with
And
you.
then this, gonna tell my sister, oh, the one that was born in 1980. That's because you was stirring,
This
my
man has,
license
he knows
down.
where you live. You need
Goodness,
to,
he
you
has a
need to,
photogenic memory.
he got your birthday, your driver's license number. He knows your address.
Let me tell you, don't do that because I just watched a
Oh,
crazy movie and I
mm,
should not have
my bad.
right before. We, we'll talk about it. It's actually with Monique. She done got back
I heard
on
about the reading.
the reading.
I've been hearing about that.
Son of a
I
mother.
don't watch scary movies. You know I don't do that.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Mm-mm,
It
I
wasn't
can't do that.
scary. It was an ex. It was like you was literally on
Suspense,
the. It was
thriller.
yeah. It was just. It was like a
But
yeah. It was like a suspense kind of where you was just like, oh, this took a turn.
I'm not doing
But
that.
I want to talk. I do want to talk to you about it. So we'll talk about it. I want you to watch it, but during the
I'm
daytime.
I, I, I'm not gonna watch it. You're gonna have to just spoil it
I'm
for me.
sorry. Oh, excuse me. It's not that bad.
We're gas. You don't want it to be you, but it's
It's the
all of
rose.
us.
It's just like ah.
Oh,
Sorry, sorry guys.
Anywho, that was our so. But then
We had a
we
good
finally
time.
get
We
we
finally
get
get.
our things. We get to the roller derby. There
That's what
is
we'll talk
another
about.
hiccup. Brother B ends up getting a call. We didn't tell y'all, but a cop had randomly yelled in the car and was like, "What's going on?" And Daddy's like, "The rotors messed up." He's yelling at the top of his, "The
Because that's
rotors!"
what he
Or what is it? The
does.
axle. No, it was the axle. The
He's
axle's
just
out. The cop is like, "The tire's out." That is like, "The axle's out," yelling to the
that's
top
how
of
he
his
be
lungs out the
doing.
car to the cop that stopped. The cop is like, "Okay, I got another stop car up here, and then I'll come back to y'all." Um, Daddy didn't understand what the cop had said. I was like, "Yeah, Daddy." Daddy was like, "What did Daddy say?" He was like, "The cop talking about he gonna." Sorry. Daddy was saying,
Oh man,
"Cop
be
talking about he
doing.
got another call. What? How he gonna? When he gonna get back to us?" Talking about he gonna come back. I was like, "No, Daddy." He said he had another stop car just up, and he said he was gonna. He's like, "Oh,
But
okay,
I get
okay."
it now. I be acting like that too. I be acting like that, and my kids be like, that is not what happened." I was
That
like,
was
oh, okay.
so funny. But so the cop had already saw Brandon's car. And somehow I did not even know that this was possible, y'all. The cop gets Brandon's phone number, I guess just from the license plate or something, and
Yeah, they
calls
run it.
Brandon. I didn't know it was linked to your phone.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably can find everything,
I
child.
guess so. I didn't know, but calls Brandon while we're at the roller derby, and he's basically like, "Bro, you weren't supposed to just leave your car. You're not supposed
Yeah,
to do that. We are gonna have to get it impounded now. So if you don't get here before, they can't impound it if you're in the car. The city." He was like, "So
yeah,
if the city toll gets there before your insurance toll gets there, then yeah, they're gonna impound it, and you'll have to pay for it to get out of the pound." So when we got that call, we were like, "Okay." Brandon's like, "Okay, maybe I'll stay for like 5 more minutes." He stayed for 5 more minutes. Then you took him back to his car, and
yeah,
when y'all got there, the city pound was there.
yeah. The city pound was there, but luckily he was nice. He was cool dude, and he actually just ended up towing it to the place where B wanted it to be serviced, and he when we got to the place where we made sure to follow him to the place where it was going to be serviced, and he was like, yeah, I was just trying to hurry up because they technically could have given you a ticket, and he was just trying to look out for me. So it ended up being cool because it was right across the street from the derby. But long story short, we were able to laugh about it, and it happened to be the mechanic happened to be literally right across the street, no lie, from the freaking roller derby. And it was just like, wow, we could have walked here. But the
That is
roller derby was
crazy.
cool. We had a good time. Everybody was like, people was walking by us with our hot dogs, eating our hot dogs. They was like, where'd you get that from? So
Yes.
it was good. We ended the night going to our favorite place, the cigar bar.
Oh, I love the cigar bar.
Yeah, I
Can't
know
tell
they be
y'all where
tired
that's
of
at
us.
though.
I know they be tired of us.
I don't think so. The cigar bar is so cool. Brother B didn't. I thought that Brother B had been going there for like years or something, but come to find out, his first time going there was for our brother R's wedding. He took him and brother R when brother R got married last year.
That was the first time they had went to the
That
cigar.
was their first time going to that cigar bar. That he found
You
it
know what?
because they went and got cigars. I think that morning.
I feel like honestly, I feel like we've been going there for a lot longer just because of like the relationship. He knows us, we know him. We just walk in and he just kind of let us do our thing. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's been longer than that. Wow,
it
that hasn't even been a
hasn't.
year.
It hasn't even been a year, and it's
Oh,
such a good. It just feels like, I don't know.
it's a
It
good
feels
vibe.
like being at a kickback at somebody's house
Yeah,
because it's
grown
just so
folks
chill.
kick back.
Yeah, right. No
Yeah,
foolishness. Just like we
yeah,
chilling, we talking. There's a chessboard.
yes.
just it's fun.
Good
It's a really good
conversation. We are
time
always the loudest ones in the room, and we literally went there 2 weekends in a row.
in a
The
row.
weekend before we went, and a freaking building right next door was on real life fire, like
Fire.
flames, like
It was
we be.
unbelievable. I still
It
can't
was
believe that was a real thing.
unbelievable. So
It's
yeah,
crazy.
we
It was fun though.
we be having some we
Some
be having some
adventures. Oh, it was
that's
fun.
exactly what it is. Yeah. So we know we spend a lot of time on that, which we just like reliving, the good old days, even though that was just last week.
I
We had us
know.
a good old time and we just like to enjoy each other's company. So
Yeah, yeah. It was a real good time.
it's a good one.
But I guess we should move on. We don't want to have a 40,000 minute long episode. So let's get into tonight's topic. We're planning on talking about something, but we kind of touched on something else. So we're gonna get right into it. So I called my good sis yesterday, and I was like, it's always something that done happened with me and my shenanigans of a life.
Yo,
No, I'm just
escapade.
there are no escapades. But girl, so I was like, I think we need to talk about how the narrative. What y'all think? Y'all let me know what y'all think. But
Yeah,
and
y'all let us know.
maybe it's a city to city thing. But I feel like you always hear
It
about
might be
how
a city to city thing.
it could be. But you really do hear a lot about how people talk about how it's so hard in Atlanta to date and all of this and all of that. And I'm
Mm,
like,
I gotta write a note down because I gotta make sure I say this.
you right. Oh, you better
Go
write that
ahead.
note
Go
down.
ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. I'm listening, baby.
They're saying in the streets that it's difficult for women specifically to date. So there's like some sort of statistic. I think everyone has heard it. Like, oh, in Atlanta, women are like, it's
Definitely.
something like, what do they say, like 10 to 1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's one. It's there's something like, what is the statistic? Like there's
I
one
don't
man for
know.
every 10 women or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
that's.
that.
I thought that was in general. I didn't think that just applied to.
I don't know. I know that's like a thing that they've been saying over the years about Atlanta. And I'm like,
Yeah.
perhaps. But I had a conversation
Perhaps.
recently with someone, and they were really trying to convince me like that it's like so much more difficult for women to date. And I was like,
Mm.
are you a woman dating in Atlanta? Mm-mm. I
They just
think
going off of what they heard, probably. You think, or
I
you think they
think that
really, really just came up with that conclusion on their own?
I think that this particular guy really likes the idea of having the upper hand on women, like almost like
Scoundrel.
I'm like, oh, like a Kevin Samuels, like, oh, like I'm a
Oh, not
yeah,
Kevin.
No shade, RIP. No shade to the, no disrespect to the
No, no,
dearly
no, no, no.
departed.
Absolutely. I mean, I
But
forgot that quick. But
yeah,
no,
no,
just
rest in
the
peace. But
principles
the
and the
principle and like the controversy, or some
yes.
of the things that he went viral for, I wasn't a follower of his. I wasn't a part of his target demographic, so I don't know exactly like all that he talked about. But I know some of the things that he went viral for were pretty intense. And I get the impression that this guy that I was having this conversation with is kind of like buys into a lot of that thought process, like that way of thinking.
Really?
Like,
Let me ask you something. I got a question.
yes, please. Mhm. Mhm.
Men
Mhm.
was okay. Let me see. So I would say to somebody that has that mentality is that they are one. And listen, I don't know this man from a can of paint.
Mhm.
So don't listen to me. Okay? I think that they are one insecure and or could be either or both. It could be both. And or maybe he just ain't dated no pretty girls in his life. And he now listen, everybody is beautiful in the eyes of God. But I, I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm really saying, and I'm trying to say it the right way. Please don't listen to me. But maybe it's a matter of, do you see who you're looking at, sir? Do you see who's sitting in front of you? Why would I have an issue with pulling a man? A
Yeah.
darling.
Yeah, maybe. And that it could be that. Look, we ain't no Beyonce's or whoever your cup of tea is over here, but I'm just
But we
saying,
pretty. We
yeah,
pretty.
you know, we
You
we
pretty, boo.
we get we
You are
gets a little
per
look off. We serving a
you
little face on
you are
y'all too.
perfect.
So is you.
Okay.
You know, I get it from my sister.
And
Okay.
I get it from my mama.
um. So, but no, I agree with you there. I think that it kind of showed because it was, you know what? It is really interesting. I think that what the difficulty with dating is if you are trying to date with intention and you actually want to build something. But I think it's equally
Mm,
difficult for men to date like that, and
yeah.
women. It's, I don't think there's any gender where it's more difficult or hard. It's just the type of person that you are. If you're a person that's kind of like, oh, I can kind of make it work with anybody. I don't have really too many particulars,
Yeah.
and I'm just, whoever. I'll just choose somebody and make it work. It could,
Right.
you could make it with whoever. If you're a person that has a little bit more where you're like, oh no, I'm triggered by this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I gotta have that, then it's gonna be harder for you to date regardless,
Yeah.
or find a person. But dating in and of itself, if you're dating just kind of like, just not really to
Casual.
necessarily
Yeah.
focus in on trying to find a spouse or a long-term
Right.
partner, dating can be very lighthearted. And I was looking at a movie that I had, and I don't think I've ever seen this, and I didn't finish it, but How to Be a Player with Bill Bellamy.
Oh, wow. You had
I
never seen that?
Girl, I didn't realize it came out in '97, and I was like, girl, yeah, I ain't seen this. Mom would have never. I was too young. Mom would have never let me watch that movie, and
Okay,
I
that
don't
makes
know where I
sense.
would have gone to ever see it. It
Yeah.
was it was vulgar. I didn't realize that it was that much going on, but.
Yeah.
And if I did see it, I forgot, child. I don't remember.
Right.
So, but when I was watching that movie, I was like, okay, this guy is basically becoming whatever the woman that he's trying to conquer wants him to be. And I was like, I women do that all the time. Women can be whatever a guy wants her to be, so that she can get what she wants from him. Like, we know
Mhm.
all the time women who, will do whatever a guy wants them to do so that she can get money, or so that she can get chosen, or whatever, have a child by
Yeah.
them, like whatever the goal is for that woman, she can
Mhm.
become whatever that guy wants to get what she wants. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes what maybe he was trying to say was that women tend to want something serious more than guys do. So maybe from that regards, he's saying, oh, it's more difficult for women to find a serious partner because they tend to look for serious partners more frequently than perhaps guys do. And I also think that that's not necessarily correct either,
Mm-mm.
because I think he thought that the benefit that men have is being able to date much younger, because he was a little older than me, and he told me that his last girlfriend was like 10 years younger than him. And I was like, for guys, they think it's no big deal, or maybe they
But
think
for
it's,
women,
yeah, and they think it might be more difficult for women to find, or for younger guys to approach
mm-hmm.
women my age. But what I've discovered in dating is that is not the case. Girl,
Mm-mm.
these young boys will not boys, these younger men
Men,
are just
they'll pull
a,
up.
they they almost
They'll pull
approach
up.
you more than
Yeah,
guys my
yeah,
own age. And I'm like, that is I think that's a misconception, that women do not have as many options.
yeah.
We definitely have as many options. We probably just tend to be more, we're not so like hot in the draws, maybe, to where we're just like, yeah,
We're
anybody
not
that won't,
utilizing that skill
yeah,
set to be like, oh,
I'll take you, I'll
because
take you, I'll take you, everybody
exactly.
that
Not
want me, I'll
some,
take them.
maybe, if that's their prerogative, okay? But not all. And I think that's where the it's misconstrued, where, okay, dude, you just gonna go with every woman that you say hi to and she say hi back.
Right.
Whereas we not gonna, you say hi to me, you might or you might not get a hi back. Like, I'm
I
not gonna
can't
just
call.
I'm not just gonna be giving, I can't call, I'm just not gonna be giving you my highs just
All right, okay,
because you said hi,
hmm
so I think that's the
yeah.
misconception. But also, I think it is, okay, so I was listening to, of course, The Breakfast Club, and it was on Valentine's Day,
Mm.
and they had these women who were calling in. And strangely enough, a lot of them were calling in from Atlanta. There were a few callers, like women calling in from Atlanta, talking about, I forgot the topic, but it was along the lines of, how many people you juggling today, or which one you gonna kick it with, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the women in Atlanta were like, yeah, I got this one dude that wants to fly me out from this place, but he got a good job, that, like, all going through all the different, options, right? But one of the things that kind of stood out was all the women that were from Atlanta. It was probably like two. They were all talking about dudes that lived outside of Atlanta,
Interesting.
right? So I think, to your point, when you were saying people say that the dating game is so hard in Atlanta, and one of the things that Charlamagne and God always be saying is like, girl, you gonna miss your blessing, you gonna miss your husband. And he was referencing, just because you live in one state and your husband live in another state, you gonna miss your husband. But I don't think as many people are like really broadening their horizon to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, let me go on a dating app and put that I'm interested in dating men from Texas or wherever,
hmm
and they're just sticking to the one demographic. And listen, Atlanta big, but Atlanta small too, baby.
Yeah, so true.
So
And I that is a really good point. And I, I don't know. I don't know if I think that, yeah, you can cast a wider net if you just broaden your horizon.
mhm.
And I
But
don't know.
you can also find that person here too,
You definitely could. You definitely could, if you're looking for that person. If you just
if
want to
that's what you're
chill and
looking
have a good time
for,
and you're just
right?
dating, that's not always the goal. But if you are looking for the person, you can find them, with whatever parameters that you want to set. I did want to mention this too. One of the things that I don't know, I've noticed in like more than once,
Hmm.
is like, if I'm trying to, how could I say this?
Don't listen to her. I'm gonna just start
Yeah,
off with that because I don't know.
right.
I don't know what you're
Don't
gonna
listen to
say.
me. Mm, so
Mm.
I don't know. So, like, maybe like comparison. So maybe if I, have gone on enough dates and I'm comfortable with the getting picked up from my house so that they
Mm-hmm.
can take us to the date. I have experienced maybe more than once where I will get picked up and they will maybe make a comment on where I live, like um, not knowing, even though yes, but it is by the grace of God that I that
Hallelujah.
I have a place where I have located, and anything. But it's almost like they'll say it almost like, don't think that I don't want her to think that she got one up on me because she lives here.
What?
and and like they might say like, oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I was thinking of any. And honestly, a lot of times if I mention like, oh, they're like, oh, where do you live, and I tell them the area, like, oh, I just throw the general area, like, oh, I'm in this area. They're like, oh, well, I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking like I'm about to move, closer to the city, or I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that, or yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, at first I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, yeah, of course, if you
Everybody wants to
probably
do
want
that.
to be closer to the city for your commute. But the more I started hearing people say that, I was like, are you saying that just because I said I live in the city? Like, what if I would have said I live in the suburbs? Would you still have said, oh yeah, I'm about to move to the city?
Maybe
What is the
that's just a
reason for
man's
saying that?
ego, or
I
again, it
That's
goes
just so
back to,
strange.
and not to, maybe I don't know. I'm don't listen to me, but again, I feel
Just
like
women,
some
we
of
don't know
that,
what it could be.
I don't know because I ain't no man, okay? But I just think that also goes back to, again, being, it's in some ways insecure,
I think
just
so.
having their own insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? And who cares where I live? If I said I lived in that space and then you pulled up to a crack house, would you change your
Yeah.
mind? Would you be like,
Right.
oh yeah, I was planning on moving around the corner, right up the street.
Right.
Come on, what does that have to do with it? Like,
And I said many times, I don't have a car. So I don't have a car. No, I don't have insurance. I'm not paying for gas. That gives me a little bit more wiggle room to
right, than the average. Yeah,
than the average
yeah,
person. So I don't have, and I
yeah.
don't have children.
Right. It's
There's
a
a lot
different.
of, and you don't know how much money I have left over after I pay my bills, sir. I could be
Right.
pinching,
I
scrubbing
could be
pennies
you. I
together.
could be having you come pick me up just so I can get a free meal. Don't it?
So it is, and it is, but you know what? That is something that it's so interesting, and probably because of the age, like my age bracket, maybe the guys around my age, they might feel that pressure to be like,
That they
the
want to
social,
be.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
socialization is, oh, women want a provider. So if
Hmm.
I'm not able to
Up to that
off,
standard.
yeah, if I don't
Yeah.
have at least what she has, then she's going to look at me as less than a man, or not even a real contender. And I remember not too long ago I had a conversation with
Ooh.
a guy, and I was telling him like, we've been hanging out. I really have just wanted to be friends and not really, have anything serious, but I actually like you. So I want to know, like, I want you to know that I'm going to probably start pulling away, because I know that that isn't necessarily where you are. I could just tell like that
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
the
yeah.
type of time that he was on. He wasn't looking for anything serious. And we really
Right.
would just like go out, have drinks, have fun. It was like we were basically
Right.
homies. But
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
starting
yeah.
to really like this guy, and it was crazy because it really was his personality. He just was a really cool
Dope
dude that I was
person.
like, oh, I could just be
Yeah.
myself. I don't have to wear makeup. I don't have to dress nice. We're just like homies, and but with a really great personality. We really
Right.
hit it off. Um, but I could just tell that just was not the type of time he was on. And honestly, with all things considered, he's not like, he wasn't the type of person that I saw myself building with. And he even mentioned when we were having that conversation, he was like, honestly, you were really great. He was like, and he's been really open to me about his situation, but he was like, I got this going on. And it was all things like money, and like where he lives and what he has and what he can offer to a relationship, and how he straight up said, he was like, this makes me feel weird. He was like, I'm in a weird space mentally, like physically. He was like, I've gained, you can tell he had gained some weight. He just was like not feeling his best
Mhm.
self because of like
His
all basically
circumstance.
money
Yeah.
and things that like what he has. And I
Mhm.
was like, bro, I totally feel you on that. And that's why
Dang.
I'm not even really tripping. Like I'm here for you while you go through this journey. I just wanted to be honest with you. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
even
that
really
was
trying to
real
be on
adult
this
of
time.
y'all. That was real
And
adult
but
of
it is
y'all.
it is I'm like, it's really interesting dating in my 30s and seeing how some like it can mess with a man's psychological and
Mhm.
mental well-being when he's feeling like he's not able to provide
But
or
let
like
me
have a
let me
certain
just
status.
throw
I don't
this
know.
in there. Let me throw this in there, right? Because this is so funny. And before I even knew we were talking about this topic, I saw this on social media. It was a post by, just a random guy, and he was like, you think you doing something if you dating a girl in Atlanta, literally, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but if you dating a girl in Atlanta, you think you're doing something if you don't flew in town, took her to a dinner, wined and dined her. Next thing you know, you see her in her stories posting the uh from the court, sitting down at a basketball game with the NBA player on the floor. And he was like basically, females in Atlanta, man, they different. And so literally when you were saying that, I was like, oh, that just jogged my memory. And I was like, maybe it's the women that they've come across in Atlanta, because, and y'all sisters, y'all all right? Listen, I love y'all. I'm not trying to, I'm not giving no secrets out, but I'm just saying in general. Sometimes in Atlanta and other places, but I'm speaking from it, from what I know, Atlanta. Sometimes, there's a lot of, I tease about this all the time, because it's like I've met so many, seen so many, took pictures with so many, like been in close proximity and spaces so many times with famous people,
Hmm.
and it's regular, lifestyle here in Atlanta. From the time I was very young, it's just regular. That is not outside of the norm. And so I think the thing that men may find when dating is maybe, possibly in Atlanta, women who have been on that tip, or they are like, okay, I'm like a housewife. I've been accused of thinking that I'm a housewife before. You know, they think that, oh, this is like a housewife woman, and she got to be, well taken care of, and a dude buy her this and buy her that.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that might be some of, the women that these men could have possibly ran into. Maybe not all of them, but maybe there was one or two that made them feel that way, even if they did not have the past experience to be like, oh, I've had a man do for me like this, that, and the third. Because listen, social media out here is cap. They be lying
Oh,
big time. And I think a lot of times people try to act as if they are on a certain level when they're not. So
no,
if
yeah.
you meeting someone new and you trying to try something different, you can say you can be whoever you want to
That's such
be
a good
to
point.
that one person without them even knowing, like, this girl living in the basement with her mama or her grandmama. She ain't, I mean, I'm not being ugly, but
No,
I'm just
and there's
saying.
no problem, but I could literally be living at home with if I lived at home with our parents right now, I would definitely be able to live. I could have a wonderful luxurious car, all types
Mhm.
of name brand and amazing
Mhm.
lace fronts and
Mhm.
makeups and
Mhm.
nails, and I
Mhm.
could get fillers and all types of things done to my
Listen,
face and my girl. I can't do that because I don't have the money because I have to pay
listen,
the
honey.
regular bills. So yeah, and it really is, I think, a social media thing because I think in regular life you're able, outside of social media and honestly probably just technology in general. I was
In
just talking to my
general.
therapist about this. my last session, I had saw something online that kind of effed me up a little bit, and I'm not even on
Mm.
social media. I have to tell you afterwards, girl, it was really crazy.
Mm.
And I was like, how is this coming into my awareness when I don't even be on social media? I tried to like distance myself from some of the things that I know will trigger me.
Mhm.
Um, because it's just, even though I'm happy with where I'm at,
Mhm.
sometimes life is just a lot. And when I see
It's still a work in
something,
progress.
yeah,
I
and when I
mean,
see something of someone else who maybe I feel like effed me over, it
mhm.
is hard to be happy for to see them
Mhm.
winning. It is
Mhm.
hard. That's a hard thing to see. And I don't know. I even talked to my therapist about. I was like, I don't. Why is it so hard to see someone who I feel, whether it's real or not, who I feel like mishandled me,
Mhm.
winning?
Mhm.
And she's like, girl, it's just a human condition. Like, you're
That
not
is human.
crazy for feeling that way. Like, it's a feeling, and that's how you feel right now, and it'll pass, and then you'll go on with the rest of your life and continue to do what you're gonna do. But
This
I
will be a
saw that.
small part in your life that you probably won't even remember
Yeah,
ever again.
exactly. But I had saw that, and I was just like, man, no, that it just reminded me of why wasn't really vibing with social media, and why I decided to take a,
Mhm.
a break. And it's because when I'm not on social media, I compare myself to me. When I'm on social
Mhm.
media, I compare myself to people on social media. And 9 times out of 10, the
Mm.
things that I'm comparing myself to on other people, it's not even real. It's
It's
and
not.
it
It's
it's not
unrealistic.
real. It's not real at all. It's not
Yeah.
real at all. So I'm like, yeah, it's better for me to not put myself in that environment, because when I'm able, and my therapist, we'll talk about it, and I'm like, you know what? I have to like list out all of the things that I have done
Mhm.
and where I'm at, and I'm like, I do have an amazing
Yeah. You have a
setup
lot
right
going
now. I have
for
it's a
yourself.
really it's a
Absolutely.
lot, but when I'm comparing myself to somebody who just opened up their own law firm that's my age, that I graduated high school with, and that's on their third baby, and they've been married for 15 years, I'm like, ah. And knowing I don't even
I ain't even go to school for law. Why would I open up a law firm?
and I'm nowhere near ready to have a one baby right now, let alone
Right.
three.
Let alone for Rick and a husband. That is
Oh,
ridiculous.
been there, done that. But yeah, so I'm like, that is just is
Oh,
crazy
hiccuping.
to like. Oh, you know what that means?
Sorry. I'm
I don't know.
growing.
Mm,
Hiccups
okay,
mean.
we'll go with that.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm gonna keep going and going and going. But yeah, that is really interesting, and I guess my whole landing point is it's not worth it to try to convince everybody that my experience is the real experience. Like, okay, just because this guy says, oh, it's difficult for women today in Atlanta, it's not my responsibility or like my goal and task in life to be like, no, it's not. I can date whoever, whenever, how, like,
Yeah.
who cares? I'm just gonna have to keep living my life, and
But
hopefully,
sis, okay, so not to cut you off, but do you ever, okay, you're in the dating scene. Would you ever date outside of the state of Georgia?
I've talked to, not seriously, but I told you, like, I've tried dating apps or whatever, and I
Hmm.
have like had conversations with um a, like, really just one person who was not in Georgia.
Hmm.
One person who wasn't in Georgia at all, and another person who was like in another part of Georgia that was like really far. I wouldn't mind. Honestly, I really wouldn't. And, because I work for an airline, that's part of the reason why I think I would be a little more
Yeah,
flexible, because,
you
and
just get up on the flight and just
yeah, I could get
gel.
on a flight and visit.
Oh,
And
sorry, I was thinking something else.
what you want to go to on a trip?
I've been wanting to go on a trip,
We should go to
but
New Orleans. Oh, not to get off on a tangent, but yeah, I
where
really
you
want to go to New
want
Orleans
to go? Okay,
real
let's
soon.
do it. Like next
Hmm.
weekend, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, call you later. But no, um,
Why'd you
I
ask
uh,
that?
no, social media. I was thinking about this again. I shouldn't be. Actually, I be on TikTok a lot. I don't be on TikTok. Just sucks me right on in. I just got on TikTok, y'all, so I'm new to this
Girl.
tickety tockety stuff,
She
right?
gets the views though, y'all. She
Okay.
get views. Hmm.
So this woman was, oh God, this is sad. I feel bad for her. She was the only thing I think about when you think of someone dating outside of your same state is even when that caller, this lady was calling in talking about how all three guys that she was dating from outside of Georgia was trying to all fly in and, blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking to myself, mm. So but then this other story got a lot of headline because this girl flew in to surprise her husband or her boyfriend she had been
Nobody's so
dating for like 8 months.
yeah.
She surprised him on Valentine's Day and
Mm-mm.
found out this ninja had a
Whoo!
whole wife,
Oh,
and she was literally the camera went out and she came back and she was in the hotel room with her like cousin, and you could tell her cry was like a gut wrenching cry. She was like,
8 months.
that's what everybody was saying. People were going in on her like, I can't believe you let you it was only 8 months, girl. You supposed to be blah 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 blah.
Only
That's what they were saying. They were being so mean, and I felt so
eight
bad for
months is a
her.
significant amount of time. I
Any
think,
amount of time where you feel like you're invested in someone and that person is
girl,
being open and honest with you,
married.
I don't care how
If I
short or long.
if I cut off everybody I'm talking to for 2 days and find out there's some discrepancy within those 48 hours on the other person's part, oh, we got a
You
problem.
better watch your
I,
front and your back.
I cut. Could you imagine? Now,
She was literally had a gut
I
wrenching
don't.
cry. She was like, I know
Oh
this was
my
God's way of
goodness.
just saving me, but she was just like, ladies,
Mm,
please be
mm, mm,
careful out
mm, mm,
here.
mm, mm.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
family.
Nisa, this reminds me. You are all caught up on the reunion for Love is Blind with SK and Raven.
I
Sis,
wanna find SK. The audacity. He one of the ones we talking about tonight who ain't never dated
sis.
a pretty girl, and then somebody gave his little scrawny the time of day and a little
A
extra
little
attention
piece
because
of
he was,
attention.
look at me roll my neck, because he was on TV. And this, you know what got the audacity?
Nisa. I had heard,
Mind blowing. Mind blown
girl,
emoji.
Nisa. I had heard about it.
I hadn't heard anything about I walked into that totally
You
blind.
were totally no, I
Oh
heard.
no, no, no. I heard the cheating scandal, but I didn't know if it was real or not.
Me too. Exactly. I
Okay.
was like, there's no way that this is the truth because what are we talking about here? Do you see Raven? Like, not, and it's not a matter of she's just
Um,
drop dead
gorgeous,
gorgeous. She
but
also is cool as
she
hell.
and you
And
could tell that she was really into him.
she was. And when that dude was trying to get at her, the other dude, she shut that down and was like, no, I'm with
That's
my
what
man.
you.
Like,
That's
you
what
go over there
these.
with your.
That's what these ninjas don't
So I,
understand.
Nisa, I am
Stick by the
legit.
one that ride for you.
How could he? Obviously, we don't know
Shame on
all
you,
of the
SK.
intric.
Shame
Shame
on
on
you.
you. Shame, shame, shame. Like my good sis down to the Game of Thrones said. How dare you?
Not the bell, not the shame bell.
Shame. Gonna have to make him walk
He
down to
deserved
the
that.
King's Landing unclothed while we throw things at
He
him.
would.
Mm.
You stand behind
Could
him
you
ringing that.
believe? Damn.
Oh, that pissed me off so bad, and she was
Nisa.
so hurt. Oh,
She was crying after he proposed to her.
a second time,
I'm like,
you
oh my God. First you
scoundrel.
embarrass her by saying no at the altar. Then you re-propose to her, and then
Only to cheat.
how you
And
going
then
and that
she told the whole story about how it was the this nigga. Road
Wait,
in Cabo.
Nisa, she told the whole story.
You didn't see that at the end when she was talking about how the week before they
Nisa,
had
hold
just
on.
spent
Wait, what are you saying? Hold on. Okay, hold on.
waiting. She was talking about on the show.
Give me 1 second to clarify. So I
What's the
saw
last thing you
where
saw?
she was in, like, she had like a diary cam and she was crying and was like,
Yeah,
he
she.
cheated.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting. You know what? That's why I'm getting my tickety tops mixed up. It was a TikTok. I told you I started. I
Girl,
didn't tell you. I started following her. So she was on an interview. And you, I'm getting my TikTok.
Nisa,
This the
I'm
old
legit
brain.
like, I'm like, girl,
It's the
it
old
was
brain.
another one
No,
that
no, 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 no. I
came out.
can tell
Okay,
this. I can tell this
please
because
tell,
this
fill
was a
me in.
TikTok. Okay, so on the TikTok, I started following her. After that, I was like, "What's she doing with her life? I hope she just prospering and
Thriving.
making
She's
that, you know what, sick to his stomach, right?" So I went on there, and
hmm,
she was. I went on there, right, and she was on this podcast with some guy. I don't know who he was. He could possibly be famous, but basically, she was talking about how it all went down. Oh my God, you didn't see? Oh gosh, you're
girl,
gonna
I'm
love
not
this.
on social media.
You're
Tell,
gonna
I'm
love
so
this.
glad we're
Okay,
talking
I'm about
about
to
this because I
spill
had
the
no
tea.
idea.
Yes, girl. So she says after that whole after the episodes aired, she
Okay.
went on this podcast and was like basically him and her had spent her birthday down at her mother's house in New
Wow.
Orleans the week before she found out he cheated, and she even
Girl.
told him that she doesn't do this type of thing, bring men to the her mom's, blah 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 blah. He was supposed to be going back to school. She said the whole time he was with this woman in Cabo. um
What do you
he he,
mean?
the next weekend he went with
After
another woman
after
at a week after they had came from her mom's in New Orleans after her birthday. A week after her birthday, they had flew to her mom's in New Orleans. A week later, apparently she didn't find this out for months later, but he had went to Cabo with another lady, told Raven that he went back to school, said that they were talking normal, everything seemed fine. She said I think it was a few months later
how did
they
she
saw
find
the
out?
video together. Ooh, this about to blow your mind.
Hold on. What do you mean?
So apparently, the woman had been telling SK that he was going to expose her, or he could give her $300,000.
That's what he
She
gets.
must have been from Atlanta. She must have been.
Don't do these women from Atlanta like that, sis.
I'm sorry. You're right. That's my bad. I'm from Atlanta, y'all. So don't listen to
Me
me.
too.
I'm born
Look,
and come on now. Listen, I got love for y'all. But that was just effed up. So she
girl,
tried to
she
extort him, yes, for $300,000. She said they watched the video together, and
wait,
she said
what video?
I
What
guess
what
the girl had sent the video or posted it on social media or something. She posted and they watched it together, her and SK, right?
what was on the video?
She didn't say. I'm assuming I think it must have been when the story broke about his, you know,
Mm,
allegations of cheating.
okay.
So they saw it together, apparently, right? And so then she says, a few months before they had he had went missing for a couple of hours,
Oh, girl,
and
a couple of hours.
he went missing for a
I don't
couple
know
of
what that
hours,
means.
and nobody knew where he was. And then she said when he got back to their apartment, they had this. He started this big argument with her. They were arguing, yada yada yada. She said, "Come to find out," she found out after the cheating incident came out that he had locked one of the producers of the show in a car with him and was trying to make them edit out the proposal from this last from the last shooting. She said she didn't know any of that until afterwards, after it had showed, after
Wow.
she found out he had locked the producer in the car for 2 hours and was trying to get the producer not to air.
Wow. The proposal.
That makes me so mad, SK. It made me so mad.
Why? I just
For
wonder
what
why.
reason?
Why would you go to that? I'll
This
never
is
get
the
it.
same guy who was talking about how, quote
I'll
me if
never
I'm
get it.
wrong, when he was talking about how he was, he kind of despised his father for having multiple
Yep.
wives.
I recall. I
It
recall.
and he's old enough to know. This the
Oh
thing
yeah.
that gets me. These dudes that's old enough to know better. You know better. When you know better, you
Yeah.
do better.
For the life of me, I can never I really do feel like sometimes uh monogamy is just overcomplicated. Like my N word, you could just tell me what's up. Like I actually
What it is.
call me crazy, but you'll never call me stupid.
Come on.
Crazy call
Ooh,
like my good sis Jasmine Sullivan said,
Jasmine
crazy,
Sullivan.
call me crazy, but you'll
But
never
you
call
never
me
call me stupid. Got a long
you
list. Come on, somebody.
you might as
That's the
we
gospel.
could have me myself personally, I have made this commitment to myself. Myself. I don't insert the man of God that God calls down to the low's quarters at the right time, at the appointed time.
Time at the appointed.
I have made this commitment to myself. If ever I get it itching in my kitchen and I'm like, sir, I'm distracted by
Um,
my good sir over down to the left. Now he's this and he's that. I made a commitment to myself. I'm gonna go on and have a conversation with the person I'm committed to before I go do anything. And I feel like to me, even when if I get to a point where I'm even seriously dating someone, I want to tell them straight up, like, bro, I made a commitment to myself that if I ever feel like I got wandering eyes to the point where I think it's actually it
it's
could
about to go
happen,
down.
or even it could, like it is a possibility, you're gonna be the first to know. And if you're not comfortable
Slow
with that,
clap,
if
sis.
you're
I'm
not
gonna adopt that. Oh, I need that
if
presence
you're
in
not
my life.
comfortable with that type of conversation, I
What are
probably
we
ain't the girl
doing
for
here?
you. I
What are
probably ain't the girl for you,
we doing
because
here?
I would rather you be the first to know, and we squash that wandering eye, and just now
I'm
and
gonna
forever.
snatch that wandering
Or
eye right out of
sir, please snatch the one, or and vice versa. Like I would really, because guess what? If I found out about it on the back end and another got the upper hand on me, now I got to blow everything up. Now everything got to, so
damn, damn.
that's all. And not to dwell on that too much, but I really do. That's why I say I feel like as adults, we don't have to overcomplicate monogamy. We could legit have a conversation. And I know we
Responsible
talked about
adults.
Deval and Kadeen last week, but they talked about that at one point, and I was like, "That is, I feel that." I think he said something about, yeah, I think he said something about how they talk about everything, even if he felt like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm struggling here because of this or that, the third,
Mm,
and they were able to like talk it out and work through. And I don't know if she's ever said that she's had that same conversation with him, but I'm like, I actually, what if you can't talk about that with you with the person you
with your
committed to?
partner.
That's kind of effed up. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I guess
anyway,
it,
that's
it
neither
it
here nor there.
depends on how that conversation is approached. You know what I'm saying? Of course, a lot has to do with
Absolutely.
the way you communicate,
And that's why
certain
I
things.
say I think that's something that you can establish, or something that I believe or I would like to establish before I even get into a serious relationship. I'm like, I want to make sure that we are on the same page, that if you got a wandering eye, I will
Hmm.
be the first person to know, or if I got a wandering eye, you'll be the first person to know, and we will do our best
Yeah.
to keep at least that commitment. Like I do think that it's crazy to think, you'll be married for 40, 50 years and never have any sort of temptation. But if you can at least go to the person that's
Absolutely.
supposed to hold you down and hold you accountable and talk about it, I feel like
Yeah.
you at least have a fighting chance to
Right.
resist that type of temptation. Or I ain't trying to knock nobody's hustle. Like if y'all want to get down and do things with how you want to do things,
Then that's what
If
you do.
then that's what you do. But if it's about a communication, it's
It's
about
about a
like even I want to
communication.
say Belle Biv, one of the guys from Belle Biv DeVoe and his wife, who was I think she was in that group 808, boom like an 808,
Boom,
black.
like a little. Oh yeah, because one of the
Mm,
girls from there passed away.
right, the rapper.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
one of the girls is married to one of the not one of the guys from Belle Biv
Yeah, I don't know.
DeVoe, and she was on like Real Housewives of Atlanta one time, and
Oh,
they were like going through like a whole interview circuit, and I believe I heard her say one time like how at one point in their marriage they had an open marriage.
is that her? Okay, I think I do know where you're going with this. And then she is the one that kind of went deeper into it, and he was like, no, he was trying to pull her back in. Was that couple? You okay? Let
Oh
me pat you
girl,
on your back, baby.
put
Come
my
on,
arms up.
hold your hand up.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then, oh, excuse me. And then they end up closing their relationship back again.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that must be God trying to tell me to tell y'all better not open up y'all relationship. The devil is a liar.
Yes.
The
Come on, Providence. Come on, Providence. You better suck that
y'all better
lust demon right out.
suck it out and rebuke
Lust.
it and cast it down to the pits from
I
whence it
rebuke it.
came.
Come
Now
on
y'all
now. You
better
gonna
now
I'ma
any of
get
y'all that's got an
any
open marriage, you better close it. Close it, I say.
anybody who's listening to this. I'm gonna buy you Juanita Bynum's series so she can talk about no more sheep. Yes. Okay,
Listen
never mind.
here. Don't you dare open up that
They're opening the
marriage.
floodgates. You better ask the Lord to open up the floodgates of heaven.
Because if you let the devil ride, he gonna want to drive. Come on in here.
Woo! And if you
Now,
let him drive, you're gonna ride straight to hell. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
okay.
You're
Now
gonna bust
that
them doors
that's
wide open.
settled, now that we've settled that in
And that's
Jesus'
all she
name,
wrote. That's all
the
she.
cough gone and everything. God just said, okay, Lord, you better
That's it.
straighten that
Yep.
up, or you're gonna choke down to the down to the podcast.
Woo! That is so
Ooh,
funny
that
to
was a close
me.
call. Thank you, Lord. The Lord and reeled your girl back in. Okay.
Who is
Now he
your
said,
salvation?
God said you can have the conversation, but you better not open up that relationship. Now y'all can talk about your temptation
Now you gonna do what
because
you want to
we
do now, but if you
overcome.
don't listen, you better
We
listen.
overcome
You
because
better
the good book
listen.
say we overcome by the word of our testimony. Now
That's right.
you got to talk it out,
Come on,
but
somebody.
you better not open up that old
You
marriage.
better not open up them gates. So you and the devil just gonna be riding, buddy.
Riding dirty. You want to talk about they see me rolling, they hating, trying to catch me riding dirty. You want to talk about riding dirty? Oh, open up that marriage and see how dirty you.
You're out
Okay,
of control. Okay, that was so funny to me.
all right. I guess on that note, let me.
Oh,
Ooh, thank you, Holy
okay.
Ghost. Hallelujah.
Listen, let me tell you something. This
Mm-mm.
was a quote. I'm just going to ahead and close it out. I'm gonna be serious too because this quote I heard it was from an unknown author person, but these are words to live by. Never be the reason that someone asks God for peace. Now sit on that. You open them doors of your marriage. You're gonna have to answer. Okay.
What Steely say? Now, y'all, don't get caught up.
Y'all, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Okay. We love y'all.
Bye.